Here are some of the ingredients: Parmesan cheese, chuck roast, beef broth, heavy cream, celery, carrots and onion, minced garlic, bay leaves and dried herbs, rosemary, thyme, and sage, red wine, tomato paste, and crushed tomatoes. So now you want to place your chuck roast on a cutting board, and I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces. You can leave it whole if you want, if it fits in your pot. I like to cut it in 4 because you get more areas to sear, which means more flavor. Now we're going to season it with some salt and black pepper. Flip the pieces over. Then season the other side with salt and pepper. Make sure you get the sides too that we didn't cover. In my very much used and loved Dutch oven, I'm going to heat up some olive oil and then place the chuck roast in the pan. After 3 minutes of letting them sear, we're going to flip them over and let them sear on the other side. Now it's time to remove the meat so that we can cook our veggies. To the same pot, we're going to add the onions, celery, and carrots. If you don't feel like you have enough oil in the pan, add more olive oil before you add the veggies into the pan. I felt like I had enough in there. Season it with salt and pepper before giving it a good mix. And you want to scrape up the bottom of the pan, those brown bits, which is called the fond. We want all that flavor. I cooked this for 10 to 15 minutes, but don't be like me and walk away from the pan, because as you can see, my pan got hot and my onions started to burn a little bit. So be better than me. Turn your pot down if you're going to walk away. Next, we're going to add the minced garlic. Get that all in there. Give it a good stir and cook it for like 1 to 2 minutes. Next, it's time to add the tomato paste that I made a hole for and completely missed it, as you can see. And then we're going to cook that down for like, I'd say 4 minutes. We just want to brown it, mix it all together with the veggies. Now it's time for the red wine. We're going to pour in a cup. And then we're going to mix it together. We want this to cook down till it's mostly absorbed. So I'd say like 4 to 5 minutes. Now it's time to add in the beef broth, the crushed tomatoes, the dry herbs. This is the rosemary, the thyme, and the sage, bay leaves. And then we're going to mix it together until it's well combined. Then I decided to hit it with a little salt and pepper before adding the chuck roast back in. Make sure you get all the juices as well. Give it a good mix. You want to make sure that salt and pepper is well incorporated, and you want to cover the meat with the sauce. Bring to a boil, then cover, and you want to simmer it for 3 hours. After an hour, I opened the lid and I gave it another stir. I just wanted to check on it, make sure that it wasn't burning at the bottom. Covered it, and then after another hour, so at hour 2, I uncovered it again, gave it another stir. So now we're at hour 3. I removed the lid, and as you can see, it has reduced some. Flavors are getting all happy together. Now it's time to remove the meat. And as you can see, it's very tender. That's exactly what we want. Next, we're going to take a couple of pieces, put it on a plate, and with 2 forks, we're going to shred it. It should shred so easily because the meat is so tender. Want to put it into little pieces because that's going to make it better for the sauce and to eat it with the pasta. While shredding, you want to make sure you remove any fatty pieces that didn't break down while the meat was braising in the sauce. Now it's time to add the meat back into the sauce. We're going to give it a good stir and let that simmer while we make the pasta. To salted boiling water, add your favorite pasta. I'm using rigatoni because I like that the holes can fill with the sauce in the meat. Cook until al dente. When the pasta is done, take about a cup of the pasta water. We want to reserve that for the sauce just in case we need it. Gonna add heavy cream and a handful of Parmesan cheese. I'd say this is about like a third of a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. Mix it all together until it's well incorporated. I decided to hit it with some salt and pepper and give it one final mix before I added the pasta in. Now I added the pasta straight from the pot into this pot with the sauce. I gave it a good mix, made sure all of the pasta was coated with the sauce. Everything was evenly distributed, and then I decided to add just a splash of pasta water because I felt like it was a little tight. You may not need it. I only needed like a splash, literally. Now it's time to plate this pasta up because I am definitely hungry. I topped it with some freshly grated Parmesan cheese, and then I took a bowl of burrata because the parm was just not enough. Slice that out, and then I want that creamy inside, the stracciatella, and then I just put some pieces of that over the pasta. I mean, doesn't it look good already? Then I added some freshly cracked black pepper to the top, and there you have it, chuck roast ragu. Full recipe is linked in the description bar below. Eat and enjoy!